The time has finally come for yet another recording hacks video. Let's get into it. Okay, recording hack number one is your microphone preamp. When you're tracking something, if you have a microphone preamp that has an input and an output, almost on all preamps, you're gonna get more color and more saturation and more sonic character if you turn the input up and the output down. Let me show you. Okay, here we got a pair of Cappy hiders. This is the input and this is the output. And if you were to take this and you turn the output all the way down and the input all the way up, this would be the maximum amount of color for this preamp. But if you turn the input all the way down and the output all the way up, this is the minimum amount of color for this preamp. Now this works on just about every preamp. We've got these coil audio pre's over here. This is the input right here, and that is the output. So if I, right here with the input turned all the way down and the output turned way up, this is the least amount of color. However, if we turn this way down like this and we crank this way up like that, then that's way more color, way more saturation than the other way around. Now this works on pretty much every preamp, and it works on a lot of plugins too, actually. So check and see, play around with this. If you want more color, more saturation, then check and see if that works out well for you on your preamps. So speaking of preamps and getting different colors on stuff, I just want to give a huge shout out to Sweetwater for sponsoring this video. You can buy pretty much any piece of gear you'd ever need from Sweetwater, and I have done that for many, many years, including a million preamps, a million mic pre's, and a million plugins. I love Sweetwater for their enormous selection, their incredibly helpful staff. And so if you are in the market for a mic preamp or anything else, get to the links down below, and there'll be a link for everything that I talk about in this video, everything that I show in this video, and you can get down below. Check those links out and purchase anything you need from Sweetwater. And if you do, I get a tiny bit of a commission. Really goes a long way to help me make more videos just like this and grow this channel and help you guys out as much as I possibly can, because that's what this is really all about. I want to help you guys make better music and make more music and higher quality music. I want to help you fulfill your dreams, and Sweetwater has helped me fulfill my dreams. So get down to the description below and check those links out for anything that you might need. Now we've got some really cool things planned, cool deals with Sweetwater, where they're going to be helping out some charities and really be giving back to the musical community. And I'm really excited, but it's a little too early for me to talk about that. Just know that I very much appreciate Sweetwater, and they're giving back to the community, and that's something that's really incredible as well. But stay tuned for that, which I guess means subscribe and hit the bell if you haven't yet. And yeah, follow me on Instagram. All the links in the description below. Okay, the next recording hack is gonna be distance from the microphone. So if you already know that you'd like something to set a little bit back in the mix when the production is done, or if you'd like something to have more space around it, or to be less harsh and just less close, go ahead and record that with the microphone further away from the source. This works better and worse on different things. I find it works really well on background vocals if I push the singer just another 2 or 3 inches away from the microphone for the harmonies, and for the background vocals, doubles and triples. This works really great helps blend in the mix compared to the lead vocal when I want them really, really close. For instance, I'm really close to the microphone. I'm right this here. The microphone is right here that you're hearing. But if I get up and I'm gonna keep talking the exact same volume, and I'm gonna keep backing away and backing away and backing away and backing away, I sound much further away because I actually am much further away. The next recording hack is gonna be to do with gang vocals. If you're recording a gang or you'd like to simulate a crowd, one of the coolest tricks is to kind of do the same thing as the distance thing, except what you want to do is you want to change positions constantly. So for instance, if I've got 5 people in a room and we're gonna sing together or shout together or whatever for a gang vocal, I'm gonna put a microphone in a spot, and then I'm gonna spread all of us out throughout the room. We're gonna do a full take of the part, and then for the next take, I'm gonna turn everyone around, make everyone change positions, totally random, doesn't even matter, wherever they'd like to stand, whichever direction they'd like to face, but make it completely random, and then do the next take, and again for the third take, and again for the fourth take. And every single take, I'm making everyone change positions and directions that they're facing while the microphone stays the same. And what this does is this really helps you be able to build a simulated crowd with only 5 or 6 people, or even just with yourself. If you really want to enhance this, use multiple different rooms. Do 5, 6, 10 takes of that in one room. Go to a different room, put the microphone in a different room, and do the exact same process over again. And you just keep building like this until you get to the desired result that you're after, whether it's just a couple people in a room or an entire arena. Okay, the next recording hack is if you want something to sound a little bit more muffled or a little bit more distance, here's a cool trick. You can do this with EQ, but this is maybe cooler for some instances. Take your microphone, like this Manly Reference Cardioid. Beautiful mic, one of my favorites. But if you take a paper towel, just a literal, just regular old paper towel, and you wrap it around, let's see if I can do this without hurting anything. Ah, I dropped it. Wrap the paper towel around, I stole this hair tie from my daughter, and we're just gonna put this over it like that. Now, this is gonna sound really muffled. Like there's gonna be like a haze over the sound. It's gonna sound completely different than the microphone actually is. Can be a cool trick if you want something to sound like it's a long ways away. If you want things to sound muffled or AM radioed, this is a cool trick to kind of get a different texture than most of the things that you're hearing, because most of the time people are just trying to do this with an EQ in the mix. This can be really cool. Try it out sometime. Okay, the next recording hack I actually need a drum kit for, and I didn't really think this through, so I'm gonna have to solicit some help here.
Hello.
Hey dude, you answered on the first ring.
Well, I'm pretty fast.
Hey, I need a drum kit to show off some recording hacks for a video. Can I swing by?
Yeah, come on through.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Let's go. Y'all, this has become one of my kryptonites. This is a chocolate shake with 2 double shots of espresso in it. I have a problem with these.
Yeah, so I know you guys have been saying that I'm ripping off Colt, but this was actually my... Oh. Hey,
What's
dude.
up, buddy?
Hey, dude. Oh, just messing around.
Just messing. Are you filming right now?
No, I was just practicing. Been, trying to come up with new ideas. My own ideas.
Dude, your room looks awesome. Fabric wall
It's
turned out awesome. So I think before I get to these recording hacks, we gotta do some B-roll. So one of the recording hacks that I love is if you're in the studio, you really need to have both of your overheads here the exact same distance from the snare drum, but not just the snare drum. You need to identify where on the snare drum you're actually hitting it and then go from that point. But most of the time you don't have a tape measure. Recording hack is to use a mic cable.
This is a mic cable. This is it's as tall as me.
That's perfect. And you can use any cable, guitar cable, extension cable, whatever. So where on the snare drum would you hit?
Well, that's a good... most of the time, hopefully, it would be somewhere in the upper center area.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so wherever that
Where
mark
that
just
stick
is, right there, that's stick mark.
All right.
And then hold one side of it, and then you would hold the other side to this whatever spot on the microphone you want. But that looks good right there. Now, keep that right where it is, and go over.
Hey, that's pretty close.
That is pretty close.
I haven't done any recording in here yet.
I'm impressed by that. If we move this back,
Just a hair.
whoop,
Yep.
how's that?
A
little bit more.
Right there. Yeah.
This is really hard to adjust microphones and
that's
hold a camera.
No, that's good.
So now when you're holding this on the snare drum and you're going back and forth, it's the exact same spot. It hits the exact same spot on the microphone. And that is how you would measure your microphones to make sure they're both the exact same distance, not just from the snare, but from where you hit on the snare drum for every single session. The next recording hack is to deaden a snare drum. Now, if you saw one of my previous recording hacks videos, you saw that I use weather stripping. I'll put a link in the description below to go check out my other recording hacks videos. I've got a couple of them out. But one of my last hacks that I talked about was using weather stripping from Lowe's or Home Depot to deaden the ring of your drums. And that is awesome, and I use that all the time. However, there is another trick to deaden the ring. If you got a snare drum that's too ringy, and this does work on toms too, but I've used it more on snare drum. If it's too ringy, you can actually just take one single lug and loosen it half turn or a whole turn, and you will get rid of a lot of the ring while changing the characteristic of the drum very little. Let's try that out. Okay, give me a couple one shots. Perfect. Okay, now take your drum key and the lug right between your legs, just loosen it like a whole turn.
That's all the way open.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Significantly less resonance.
Yeah.
That's it. So sometimes this trick works out really well if you don't have any like moon gels, or if you don't have any weather stripping or the other hacks that I've talked about. This trick can work really well to deaden the resonance of a drum that has too much ring to it. And sometimes you can use this in tandem with weather stripping or moon gels, and it works really good.
Okay, so when I record drums, I'll just tell you, I think the overheads are probably the most important to me, or the one I care the most about placement on. And the way that I really enjoy hearing them is essentially how you hear the drums, like the same drummer's perspective, right? Snare, rack toms a little bit to the left, floor toms a little bit to the right. So I put my overheads over the toms. So my rack toms a little to the left and the floor toms a little to the right, snares in the middle. I also love the ability, I would say there is a better phase relationship between the tom mic and the overhead mic when they're placed both close and distant, rather than doing like a wide thing where like you're kind of getting hi-hat. And this over here, XY is pretty good if you turn it that way. Again, this is personal preference. I like the overheads to be turned so that they're over the toms, and then I'll double check the distance if I remember.
Okay, so do you find that with the overheads this setup, so you can see like right now, the kick and the snare drum are like in a line, and we're kind of in a line to the overheads.
Yeah.
So the kick and the snare can be more even in the overheads, level-wise.
Yeah, I mean that's,
when the overheads are turned like this.
Again, very much personal preference. There's going to be different variables each time, and it's always going to be a little bit different depending on the drums, how many cymbals, who's playing, what kind of music. But
absolutely,
if I'm using stereo mics, especially condensers, large diaphragm, it's going to be this way because I love it.
I don't know if you do this, but I also double check the overheads against each individually against the snare drum. Mic. So I'll take this overhead, pan it to the center, check polarity to the snare. That overhead, pan it to the center, check polarity to the snare.
Yeah.
And that way I'm positive that both overheads are in perfect polarity to the snare drum.
Wow. I don't do that because I'm lazy.
Punchy snares.
Yeah.
The other recording hack, this is not really a recording hack, but
definitely a recording
this hack. Is awesome. Like what to do with all your stands. And these are like you pointed out in your video, these are all tripods with 3 legs. So they take up a ton of room when they're sitting out on the floor. Where did you get
this whole corner was just stands occupying space, and when you walk up the stairs and that's the first thing you see. No, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
You know, easy to grab. This is like a garage organizer for, you know, tools. You can actually buy different, they, you know, sell all different types of hooks.
So this is like for like shovels and stuff.
For rake, shovel,
oh, dude, that's
broom.
Awesome.
It just clips on. You can slide them around.
Where did you get that?
Home Depot.
That's awesome.
Very sturdy, and you know, you can slide them around. This little lever kind of allows you to slide them closer, so I could probably get even more on here.
Thanks for having me to your studio.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
Appreciate it. Good to see you too.
Thanks for letting me borrow the compressor.
Your place is looking wonderful. What compressor?
Air compressor.
Oh, air compressor. That's why I'm here, is to pick up my air compressor. I'll put links to his stuff below too. Don't forget to go check out his studio build video, which is coming along wonderfully. Studio looks awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yes. That is about going to do it. Thank you so much to Andrew Masters for letting me come by. I'll put his info down below as well. Okay, one more thing before we go. Some of you may follow this YouTuber already. This is a piece of clothing by a company called Not Me Only. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I didn't even get this for free. I paid full price for this. Matty Hapoya, big YouTuber, love his channel. I'll put links to his stuff down below too. Started a clothing line, and I've already gotten a few pieces of clothing from him, and it's like super high quality. This is not merch, this is like a clothing line. But the coolest thing about this clothing line is that for every drop that they do that sells out, I think they're able to build a house for someone. They're donating 10% of the proceeds, and they're doing that like 3D printed house thing. And so I think with the sellout, the completion of the drop, they're gonna build someone a house in Africa or somewhere. And I think I need to do a better job of showing off some charities and some cool things that we can all do, that we can all come together to help the less fortunate people out. And I just think this is really cool to be able to get incredibly high quality like merch, incredibly high quality clothes, and like if you order something it helps build someone a house. Come on. So yeah, check this out. Really cool. Every piece of clothing that I've gotten has been like very cool with like the branding. Got the cool tags right there. Can you see? Get my face out of the way. Not Me Only is the brand. Let's try this on. Fabric is awesome. Fabric is so awesome. This fits so good. A little bit longer. That's how I like it. Yeah. That's amazing. Love it. Not Me Only. I'll put links to Not Me Only and Matty Hapoya's channel down below, and go get you guys some merch and support a really good cause. That's gonna do it for me today. Thank you guys so much for joining. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, all that stuff. Thank you to Sweetwater so much for sponsoring this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.